Yeah. And it's really is that there are two kinds of ways of being spiritual. So there's the way in which in our essential nature, what we fundamentally are is already free. And that freedom is something other than, it's not able to be captured in concepts. It's not able to really be spoken about clearly because the way that we exist or are, um, the whole very phrase non-duality points to the incapacity of language to do anything but point in a certain direction. So when I say our essential nature, us, we are free, all of that, that is not the body, that is not the mind, that is not the senses, that is not the human person. So if we're talking about any of that, then we're not talking about that which is by nature free, that which is already free. And it baffles language to say, I am that. Because what is the I that we're speaking of there? We're not speaking about the mind. We're not speaking about the body. We're not speaking about anything that's sensed or felt. We're not speaking about the person, you could say, the personality. All we can do is use words and phrases like that which is aware of all of that, that which is aware of the body, that which is aware of sensation, that which is aware of the five senses, that which is aware of the fields of the senses, what's seen, what's heard. That which is aware of all of that, we are that, or you are that, or I am that. But what is that we and I and you that we're referring to? It's simply that. So, what relationship does it have to us? Well, it is the ground. It is the foundation. That ground, that foundation, that substratum gives light to the mind, to the sense of self, to the senses, to the sense of the world, to everything. So it is the essential subject, our essential subject, the essential subject underneath the sense of I, the sense of me, the sense of the body, the sense of emotions, the sense of the narrative that we have about what's true and what's not true, all of that, all experience. In a sense, is not that at all. That is lighting all of it. And in another sense, all of those that are arising, the ornamentations of it, the reflections arising in the mirror, all of that are also the mirror. All of that is also the light. It's the reflections of the light. It's the way the light is seen. But fundamentally, that transcendence is foundational. It is unchanging. It is always the nature. So in some ways, you could say, never the twain shall meet. So you have this kind of paradox, you could say that they meet, but it's like saying reflections in a mirror are never permanent. The mirror is the only thing that's permanent, and the mirror is basically nothing other than reflectivity. You never really see a mirror, you just see reflections. But without the underlying mirror, there could be no reflections. The reflections are nothing permanent. And in some way, there's a way in which they are fundamentally illusions. If you take it for being existent in itself, rather than a reflections in a mirror. Vivian and I we used to go to a place downtown Portland, Habibi's. It's still there. It's Middle Eastern food, and one whole wall is a mirror. So it's easy to walk in there and immediately feel like you're in a vast place until you realize these are the reflections of the other diners. It's actually not as big as it looks. So if you mistake that, so the metaphor of the mirror and the reflections breaks down because in this case, there's nothing being reflected. They're just reflections. It's like a crystal ball and things are arising in it. Or it's like a computer monitor. Computer monitor, like what you see in the computer, it's not like a mirror where something has to be in front of it. You see all these images in the computer monitor. So all you're ever doing when you're looking at watching a movie, for instance, on a computer, all you're really doing is staring at the screen. But for you, you're seeing all kinds of things. If you take what arises in the computer monitor on the screen as real, rather than just the potential of what the screen can do, then it's an illusion. You can get into trouble. So that's one form of spirituality, one basic form. And there's many forms of it, right? There's Zen, there's Advaita Vedanta, there's even this basic teaching is touched upon in other traditions, in Kashmir Shaivism. It's the doctrine of recognition, and other forms of Buddhism, other forms of Hinduism, other forms of spirituality, right? So that's there, right? And it doesn't mean that there's a kind of a transformation that happens simply by having, well, the way it's usually described is you have your attention turned toward turns toward that, turns toward the subject, or what Ramana called the eye of the eye. That's letter I of letter I, not eye of I, although that kind of works too. But the subject of the subject, because usually our subject is us, me. I'm a person, I have a body, I'm living a life, that I, that subject, the subject of that subject, this, the one that's aware of that subject. If the subject turns its attention rather than toward the world of multiplicity, but rather toward its source or toward what it is aware of it, to gaze in that direction, the transformation of the mind is it becomes more and more relaxed and silent. And there is a transformation in the body and the mind that proceeds from that. But it's not fundamentally about whatever transformation happens. That's like a side effect. It's sometimes called bliss. But whatever transformation happens in the body, mind, and the mind is beside the point, because all transformations are impermanent. They're reflections. And attention of the mind turned toward the eye of I, or turn toward the Atman, or toward Brahman, or turn toward the source. When attention is directed toward that, there's a recognition that that is the subject of the subject and all the objects. It's another way of saying it. When the little self puts attention on the big self, eventually the little self recognizes that the big self is the self that's aware of the little self and the world. Simple way of saying it. The Nominalai Swami used to talk that way, something like that. Talked about the little self. All right. That's really not any kind of attainment. It's a recognition of something. It's a realization of something that's already the case. Now, if you want to call that recognition or realization an attainment, you can, but it's really not a net. It's not, the actual recognition of it is not really any kind of a transformation. It's a recognition of what's already the case. And as a side effect, something happens there, but it's not the issue, because what's seen is you're the unchanging, the unmoving. And that seeing is actually a relaxation of any effort to transform or become anything in particular. There's no need to change. There's no need to become anything, because you're not any of the things. Okay. That's one basic kind of spirituality. Another basic form of spirituality is, it's even another form of basic non-duality, you could say, sort of, more or less. Although it doesn't matter what terms you use around this. It's that in which you spend time relaxing in, recognizing, being present to presence. So who does that? You do that. Who's you? The person that owns the body, the person that feels the body, the person that looks at the universe, the I sense, the ego, the personality, the human being, whatever you want to call it, right? Us in our personalness. To contact presence, either through meditation, through prayer, through silent sitting, through being in the presence of a teacher who is transmitting presence, whether you call it transmission, or you call it energy, or you call it Shakti, or you just call it presence. You tune into that presence. You feel that presence. It also can happen, like you were mentioning, with an image of a deity. It can happen with a tree. It can happen all different ways. But it's presence. It's transmission. It's Shakti. It's the presence of divinity. It's the presence of God, of goddess, of guru, in the energetic sense. And in that sense, whatever invocation, whatever form God takes then, or you find God showing up as, is a transmitter, almost like a telephone or something. It's this, it's the device or the means through which presence is given. Whether it's a teacher who is in form, who you meet, and is transmitting Shakti or energy or presence, or it's an icon, or it's a Buddha statue, or it's a mountain or a tree. All of those are transmitters of divine presence. Now, presence is felt, it's experienced, it's an object to us. And to bring our attention to that presence, and sit with that presence and be with that presence and open to that presence, is to open. What opens? Who's opening? How's all that happening? The body is opening. The heart is opening. And transformation happens through the meeting and the participating with the energetic fields together. It's you're receiving transmission and you're also giving over your own energy. There's a kind of opening and interplay, participation in the energies of God, or the energies of the guru, or the energies of your transmission, or the energies of the goddess, whatever word, whatever way in which it comes to you. You know, for me, usually I refer to this in terms of the goddess, or transmission, or spirit. But whatever language you're using, it's a participation. And it's participation of your own sense of yourself energetically, which grows and becomes transformed, because there's a way in which the communion, the spiritual communion that happens between you and God, or you and your teacher, or you and your spiritual guide, as you called it, um, is transformative. It's transformative of the heart, it's transformative of the body, it's the transformative of the mind. And that's a non-duality between you, meaning the body, the mind, all you take yourself to be, all you feel to be, and the divine. And in that transmission of energy, the whole of your experience begins to um, be suffused with the bliss or the presence or the vibration of that meeting, of that reception. So it's not just two beings, it's being itself vibrating together. There's a merging together, merging between you as the soul, the body, the energies of what you are, and everything that you're aware of, which is being suffused with the energy of God. Because the energies of God are suffusing everything, always have been, to become more aware of it. So the transformation is more and more awareness of the vibrations of the world as vibration, as yourself as vibration. Yourself meaning your body, your mind, your emotions, thoughts, everything. You as an individual. So one is very, very much, this transforms the individual. One is very much transformed by this. And the one that's transformed by this is you as an individual. And then in this vibrating ball of being, or this vibrating ocean of energy, it becomes obvious that all of this is dancing. Or I don't know if it's obvious, it can be obvious that all of this is dancing in a field of empty awareness. None other than that unmoving, unchanging space. So one is a kind of non-duality through merging, meeting, and vibrating in union with the goddess, meaning all things, all experience together through devotion, connecting to the sense of presence. And the other is to bring attention to that which is aware of all things in their apparent multiplicity. And by bringing attention to that which is aware of everything, everything begins to become transformed in its own time as well.